Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. The 2020 NFL Draft has just come to a close, and it is time for my 2020 NFL Power Rankings post-draft edition here on April 25th, 2020. So, I'm going to put up the Power Rankings screen right now so you guys can take a look at the graphic, and then we will discuss team by team ever so quickly, okay, because there's 32 teams. There's a lot to discuss here, but here are the power rankings, and then they will be scrolling down at the bottom of the screen as well. Let's start at the top, and we'll go to the bottom. We begin with the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. This really should not surprise anyone, as they just coming off of a Super Bowl win, and they just took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round. Was he really the best running back in the NFL draft? I don't think so. He certainly could end up being, but is he a perfect fit for the Kansas City system? Oh, absolutely. He is going to make an impact for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is exactly what they need, a nice compliment to Patrick Mahomes. And I cannot wait to see what he does in this Kansas City Chiefs offense for the most part. I mean, I'm not excited about the Kansas City Chiefs doing well, okay, because they're a big contender in the AFC, and my favorite team is in the AFC right now. But, I mean, you have to be excited if you're a Chiefs fan and how the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. Number 2 are the Baltimore Ravens, who want every running back that exists. Okay, they take J.K. Dobbins in the second round. And I like J.K. Dobbins, but geez, they already have Mark Ingram. They already have Gus Edwards. They already have Lamar Jackson. How many legs do you need? And I know that they run the ball 30, maybe 40 times a game sometimes. But boy, oh boy, just throwing J.K. Dobbins in the mix. And Mark Ingram is on a team-friendly deal. I think he's only getting paid $5 million a year. This surprised me. I wouldn't have gone there. I think there were other needs they could have addressed, and they're a great team. They're a pretty stacked team. Ultimately, for the Ravens, it all comes down to this. Can Lamar Jackson show up in the playoffs? The dude is 0-2 in the playoffs, point blank period. And he has stunk in those playoff games, especially the first half of those playoff games. He has to improve there. Number 3, New Orleans Saints, who had an okay draft. You know, they had a very Saints-like draft. No superstars, but they added their offensive line in the first round. They're continuing, you know, the formula of which they've been implementing for a number of years now, but they're definitely still one of the most talented teams in the NFL. The question is for them, can Brees show up in the playoffs for them? Because as people talk about Drew Brees being better than Aaron Rodgers on the all-decade team, I don't see it, because I don't see Drew Brees winning playoff games, okay? Point blank period. I see Rodgers winning playoff games. I see Rodgers going to Dallas, throwing a beautiful throw to Jared Cook and beating the Dallas Cowboys, who were 13-3, to put his team in the NFC Championship game. I don't see that from Drew Brees. I haven't seen the Saints in the NFC Championship in how long? It's time for Drew Brees to step up in his 41st year on this planet. He has to take the Saints to the Super Bowl at this point, at least back to the NFC Championship. All right, number 4, we have the San Francisco 49ers, and they are not going to be here for long. The 49ers, to me, are not going to be a 13-win team this season. Absolutely not to me. Not a 13-win team, not a 12-win team. I think 11 is stretching it. They just had Joe Staley retire today. They traded for Trent Williams as his replacement, and he wants to get paid before he plays, I think. I mean, maybe they'll be able to convince him to play under a cheap contract. We'll see about that. But his contract isn't even cheap, but under the contract he's under right now, we'll see about that. But I just don't see them maintaining the success they had last season. I see the defense taking a bit of a step back, and the interceptions, grapple, or throws coming back to haunt them a little more this upcoming season. So they're here for now because they earned it mostly based off of last season's success, but trust me, they're not going to be here for long. Number 5, Seattle Seahawks. I expect them right now to win the NFC West. I think we can mostly agree on that. I want to see if they bring back Jadeveon Clowney, but Russ Wilson, to me, is a top 2 quarterback in this league. To me, it goes Patrick Mahomes, number 1, Russell Wilson, number 2. The difference isn't that large, but with Mahomes coming off of a Super Bowl, he gets the edge right now. But Russ Wilson, I mean, he is, to me, the second best quarterback in this league right now. I do take him over Aaron Rodgers right now, absolutely, the way Russ Wilson has been playing, and I certainly take him over Lamar Jackson. I mean, come on, guys, that's not that conversation. All right, number 6, we have the Minnesota Vikings, and this might surprise some of you why the Vikings are this high. I like the Vikings right now. You know, the Minnesota Vikings, I know they lost or they traded away Stephon Diggs, but they had 2 first-round picks, of which I thought they did a very good job. Drafting Justin Jefferson and Jeff Gladney at 2 positions they needed, wide receiver and cornerback respectively. So I like those additions right there. You know, can Kirk Cousins take it to a Super Bowl? Are they missing a Super Bowl quality? Sure, that's why they're not in the top 5. But I think they're certainly a playoff team, you know, especially under Mike Zimmer and his tutelage. I think this is where they deserve to be. They have one of the better rosters in the NFL right now. Number 7 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? And they just had a good draft to me, okay, which is just adding on to that. But we already know what happened this week in terms of free agency. They went out and they got Rob Gronkowski. That is right, Rob Gronkowski is coming out of retirement, and I made a video on this. He is going to make an impact for this team. Now, I'm only expecting like 700 receiving yards, maybe 7 touchdowns along with that because, you know, Brady's going to target him in the red zone. I'm sure Mike Evans is going to get targeted as well. But when you add in Rob Gronkowski, when you add in his experience and his repertoire and his rapport, his rapport that he has with Tom Brady, I mean, that is so valuable for that team. And Tom Brady and his presence alone is going to help the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers had the number 1 ranked run defense last season, with Jameis Winston having 35-plus turnovers. What are they going to do this season with Tom Brady being a much better quarterback in terms of holding on to the football? Now the Bucs' passing defense is going to look better. We know their offense is going to look better. I'm not sure if they're going to score as many touchdowns. They probably will, but they certainly are going to have less interceptions and fumbles. So there's just so much to like when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the addition of Rob Gronkowski. Only adds to that, and then they add in Tristan Wirfs, the offensive tackle out of Iowa in the first round. And then they also add in Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back out of Vanderbilt in the second round. So in the third round, actually. So there's a lot to like right now when you look at this. Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, and I'm excited. And I can't wait to see how they look this season in this Tom Brady revenge tour. Moving on to number 8. And number 8 would be the Green Bay Packers, and they're not going to be here long to me either. And it's still a shock to me how last year they went 13-3. I don't know how. I still don't understand how the Packers went 13-3 last season. I put it all on Aaron Rodgers, or at least most of it. So I expect a course correction this upcoming season. Now, luckily for them, the Bears are still not doing much of anything to me. We're going to get into them in a moment. And the Lions certainly not either. The Vikings, although I like them, and I expect them to win the NFC North this upcoming year, you can never really trust them. So this is what keeps the Packers always in the mix, always in the running, because they have Aaron Rodgers at the helm and the rest of the division doesn't want to do anything. The Vikings are the only team in this division that ever does anything. And the Bears had that one blip in the radar when they were 12-4. No one else does anything. So the Packers are here because they went 13-3 last season, and I felt it would be unfair for a team that didn't lose that much to bump them out of the top 10 if you went 13-3 last year, but it's a coming. Okay, number 9, we have the Tennessee Titans, and this is where they deserve to be to me. I know people are going to disagree with this. I know people are going to put the Bills over them, and if you do, that's fine to me. People who put the Cowboys over them, that's not deserved to me as the Cowboys. I'm going to get to them in a moment. I love the Cowboys this upcoming season, but they need to prove some stuff to us first. But for the Titans, they had another strong draft, drafting Christian Fulton in the second round, drafting Darren Evans, in the third round, and then also having a nice sleeper in the fifth round as well. They might sign Jadeveon Clowney soon. If they do, they move ahead of the Packers to me. Okay, they move ahead of the Packers to me, but right now, just under the Packers. Number 9, Buffalo Bills. Or number 10, Buffalo Bills. I love the Buffalo Bills right now. Can Josh Allen play? Okay, that's just the one question. I still am not convinced when it comes to Josh Allen. Can he be more consistent? Can he be more accurate? We don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people have faith in him. People have confidence in him. First of all, they should have won their wild card game against the Houston Texans. And if Josh Allen has nearly the game that Deshaun Watson has, they absolutely do. But you saw the difference in quarterback play there. But you know, there's still a lot to like. He's learning, he's getting better. But they were able to also draft Jake Fromm in the 5th round. So they have some sort of backup policy for Josh Allen in case he stinks it up. But I think he's going to start this entire year. Don't get me wrong. But outside of that, the Bills had a decent draft. And, they're being well coached right now by Sean McDermott. They should absolutely make the playoffs, especially in this 7-team system that we're now enduring. And with the addition of Stephon Diggs. With that said, number 11 are the Dallas Cowboys. And if you all remember my horrible prediction before the season was that that the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles were going to meet in the NFC Championship game. And my prediction before the season was that the Dallas Cowboys were going to win the Super Bowl. This was my horrible prediction before the season. They still had the talent to do it, but they just couldn't put it together. And now they add in CeeDee Lamb, and now they add in the second round. I can't remember their pick right now. Let me pull it up. I have the by team picks here. They get Trevon Diggs, which was a great value. In the third round, they get Navon Gallimore. And then in the fifth round, they got Bradley Anae. I mean, the incredible draft that the Dallas Cowboys had in terms of value. Again, you're getting those feelings like, man, are the Cowboys going to put it together? If they don't, it's all on Dak Prescott. And now Mike McCarthy's there. I'm feeling good about the Dallas Cowboys, people. I am. And I know I'm going to fall into the trap again, but I'm feeling good about the Dallas Cowboys. But I couldn't put them top 10. Not the way they finished 8-8 last season. They had a chance to make the playoffs. They didn't step up to the plate. So with that, I can't. And they lost Byron Jones in free agency, and their secondary isn't very strong right now. So I can't go that far, but I do like the Cowboys this season. Do not get me wrong on that. Okay, so number 12. We have the Houston Texans. The Texas fans are going to be upset because they're behind the Tennessee Titans, and you're worse than the Tennessee Titans to me right now. As you trade away DeAndre Hopkins, oh my goodness, so you trade away DeAndre Hopkins because he wants to be paid commensurate to his talent. He wants to be paid as if he is the best wide receiver in the NFL. You trade him away, and then you extend Laramie Tunsil to be the highest paid offensive tackle in the NFL by $4 million. It's not even close. The difference between Laramie Tunsil and the next highest paid offensive lineman is $4 million. They're paying Laramie Tunsil $22 million a year, and the next guy on the list is, I want to say, Lane Johnson at 18, and he's a right tackle, which is interesting. But what the hell is going on? So you trade away Hopkins, you keep this clown Tunsil, and Tunsil's gotten better, and he's kept his mouth out of the ball. But seriously, what is going on in Houston? I think they're still going to make the playoffs because Deshaun Watson is magical, and he's going to throw some deep balls to Brandon Cooks, who they traded for, and Kenny Stills, and Will Fuller when he's available for the 7.5 games of which he's available. But other than that, they're going to have their struggles as well. So, 8-8, 9-7, and 8-8 can make the playoffs in this new 7-team system. So 13, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I almost put them above with the Houston Texans. I think it's a little early for that. We need to see how Big Ben looks this upcoming season. We need to see how he does with these new wide receivers. They added another second-round wide receiver this year. So we need to see how this guy does. I want to say his name is Chase something out of Notre Dame. I want to say Chase Claypool. I've never watched tape on this guy yet, so I'm going to definitely do my film study on him. We'll see how Big Ben is able to do with this new unit, and we'll adjust accordingly. Number 14, we have the LA Rams, and they just took this Cam Akers, running back out of Florida State, to replace Todd Gurley. But they need a replacement for Gurley, and a good replacement. Jared Goff, we saw what he looked like last season when Gurley wasn't having the production that he had the year before. He struggled immensely, and they were still able to win 9 games, and a good 9 games in a tough division. But it's going to be hard to make the playoffs. And again, we have the 17 system, but the NFC is difficult, right? There are some teams that are coming up in the NFC. They're your usual contenders in the NFC. So we're going to need to see a little bit more from the Rams, and with them trading away Brandon Cooks, I'm not sure where it's going to come from right now. Okay, so that's the problem with the LA Rams. So number 15, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. And honestly, I probably should have put the Broncos over them, but we're going to get to the Broncos in a moment. The Jalen Reagor pick, it's going to take us some time to adjust. So you probably needed a more ready-to-go, prospect instead of or maybe not even say, prospect instead of project. Because Jalen Reagor is more of a project right now. I have some problems with that as the drops that he displayed at TCU, but he does have high potential. Then they traded for Marquise Goodwin today, right? They swapped 6th-round picks with the 49ers to get Marquise Goodwin. Goodwin stinks. He's no longer good at this point. If he was, then the 49ers would have put him out there, and they did. So trust me on that. That's not going to fix your problem. So the Eagles have problems, and Alshon Jeffrey is not happy, and they took Jalen Hurts, and I was actually okay on that pick because we know Carson Wentz and the injury history that he has. They're still talented defensively, offensively. They were able to win the playoffs, or they were to make the playoffs last year. I still don't know how. I mean, how they did it is still a shock to me. I think it's just on the Cowboys choking. So I still have them in the middle of the league. I think that's where they deserve to be, but they're certainly not the Super Bowl contenders that they once were. So number 16, we have the Denver Broncos, who are a fantastic young team offensively right now, an exciting team defensively as well. Bradley Chubb is only continuing to improve. Simmons at safety is only going to continue to improve. They add in Jerry Jeudy, and they add in KJ Hamler, the wide receiver in the second round out of Penn State. So now they have so much young talent offensively. Can Drew Lock be the guy to head the ship? To me, they need to go out. They need to sign Cam Newton to be an insurance policy. I don't trust this Drew Lock, rapping on the sidelines like a clown. I don't trust this guy right now. He was okay, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Hell, maybe even pretty good. But I don't trust him yet. We'll see what he can do this upcoming season. Until I see it, I can't put them higher than the top half right now. All right, so we have the Cleveland Browns at 17, and someone might say this is too high, but look, they're talented, man. They have plenty of talent on their roster, and I thought they had a great first 2 picks, taking Jedrick Wills, the offensive lineman out of Alabama, to help protect, I almost say Johnny Manziel all the time, to help protect Baker Mayfield at quarterback, and then they take Grant Delpit, the safety out of LSU. Great addition to me. Look, this guy, I know he's a bit limited physically, but this guy's going to come in and already be a veteran rookie, right? Going to add a nice presence in the locker room as a rookie. I love that addition of safety. Browns deserve to be in the middle league, and they should make the playoffs this year. I'm not sure if they're ever going to be that Super Bowl contender in this Baker Mayfield, Odell Beckham crazy era. But they should at least make the playoffs once, right? Everyone has a little flash in the pan, and this upcoming season should be theirs. All right, number 18 are the New England Patriots. And some people are going to say this is too high. Some people are going to say this is too low. To me, this is about right. I expect them to be about a 6-7 win team. It should be probably lower than 18 if they're going to win only 6 games. But I didn't want to put them all the way down yet. Let's see first, right? But come on, guys. They have Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. Okay, Sony Michel is not even that good at running back. Their wide receivers aren't good in N'Keal Harry and Mohamed Sanu right now. What do they have? Where are they going to score points from who? From where? Joe Tooney, the offensive lineman? Is he going to score? No, there's no points to be had. And then today, they take this kicker out of Marshall. And the guy's actually not bad. If you look at his college stats, he was 2 of 2 from 50+. But what are they doing? Where are the points going to come from? And they just took all these random guys in the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 4th round. No, guys that I know, they're low-key prospects, and maybe they, corral them and coach them well, and they're able to make an impact. But for right now, I just don't see it. They're going to be a middling team at best. Their days of winning the AFC East are over. Not with this Jarrett Stidham nonsense. And number 19 are the Indianapolis Colts, who I wanted to put above the Patriots. And I think the Colts are a legitimate playoff contender this upcoming season. I think Philip Rivers still has 1 more, or maybe even 2 more really good seasons left in him. Or at least, I'll say good, maybe not very good. But 1 or 2 good seasons left in him. He has a lot of talent around him, good offensive line. I just felt like, I could put them above the Patriots yet. The Browns and the Broncos are a bit more talented and definitely more on an upward trajectory, whereas the Colts are a little bit flat. But I told all you, Jacoby Brissett is a clown. He's not good enough, and they know it. And that's why they are the ones that selected Jacob Eason as well today. So they selected Jacob Eason. They signed Philip Rivers. Now Jacoby Brissett is going to be the backup, but he's going to be starting at that number 3 spot on the quarterback soon, on the quarterback depth chart soon. Luckily for him, he's going to be getting paid $15 million while being number 3, and that ain't too bad for him. Number 20, we have the Chicago Bears. I don't care for the Chicago Bears this season. I know they're happy they got Nick Foles. He's going to win the starting job, right? They're already talking about not picking up Mitchell Trubisky's 5th-year option. I'm not sure if it's going to be week 1. I think it will be, but I'll bet by week 5, at least by week 7, week 8, that Nick Foles will be in the lineup, and I don't care. Because look what Nick Foles does in the regular season. He does nothing. There's nothing that Nick Foles does in the regular season. So why are you trying to get me excited about Nick Foles in the regular season? This is the same thing that the Jacksonville Jaguars tried to tell you. This is the same thing that the used to be St. Louis Rams when they got Nicholas Foles tried to tell you. It's the same thing the Eagles tried to tell you under Chip Kelly. Be excited about Nicholas Foles. Why? These aren't the playoffs. This is the regular season. We won't make the playoffs if we have Nicholas Foles in the regular season. So don't talk to me about Nicholas Foles. The Bears missed their window, and they're not adding enough talent offensively, just adding every single tight end they can find. Bears at 20. 21, Carolina Panthers. They're a sleeper. Okay, don't get me wrong. They are a sleeper, and they took every single defensive position they could today. Not one offensive pick. Now, I don't know about that, as to me, they still need help at wide receiver. They have a young wide receiver core, but I still think they could use some help there. They at least should have got a free agent of note. And I thought they could have used a tight end for sure. And then their offensive line still needs some help as well. So, not much, but, offensive line is definitely the strongest unit, and the running back position is definitely the strongest offensively. It's interesting right now with the Panthers. I also would have thought maybe they go quarterback, just get a little developmental quarterback, but I guess they're going all in on Bridgewater at this point, and we'll see how that works. So I guess they like Will Greer's potential. I don't know why, because he showed no potential last year. This is where they deserve to be to me. We'll see what Matt Rule is able to do, and more importantly, Joe Brady coming over from LSU. To me, this is about where they deserve to be. All right, 22, we have the Arizona Cardinals, who, again, are a sleeper. Okay, they're absolutely a sleeper, but will the defense be there? Will the offensive line be there? I don't know. People are betting on Kyler Murray to be the MVP, and look, I'm the bigger Kyler Murray fan than almost anyone. But I still saw some issues with him his rookie season. He still has to definitely improve in terms of this league, and Cliff Kingsbury hasn't won games anywhere yet. I think Cliff Kingsbury is kind of a loser. And until he can prove to me that he can win anywhere, okay, on any level whatsoever, I'm not betting on Cliff Kingsbury to do anything on any level in any way. He hasn't won anyway. He did not win at Texas Tech. He did not win last year in Arizona. So I think he's a loser. I think his time is begun. And you saw his beautiful house in the NFL draft, but I don't think this guy can win anything. So I hope he enjoys that house. All right, so 23, we have the New York Jets, who I like. In fact, now that I think about it, I probably should have put the Jets over the Cardinals. The reason I didn't, though, the Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins, and the Jets didn't make a move that splashy. But the Jets, I think, will probably be better, especially because they're in an easier division, and they could actually, if you ask me right now, I would give them the second best shot to win the AFC East over the New England Patriots, to be honest with you. They're the ones that actually have the potential to win that 10-11 games, whereas the Patriots, to me, absolutely do not. So I'm looking out for the Jets. I don't know how good Sam Darnold is yet. I know he has the potential, and I had him as a franchise quarterback coming out, but he's had his struggles in the league, and Le'Veon Bell did not provide the juice that we wanted to see last season. So right now they're at 23. 24, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm over it. I'm over the Falcons at this point. I'm done with it. Desmond Trufant's gone. The cornerback position stinks. In order to mend this, they reached for A.J. Terrell in the first round at cornerback. That was a reach, absolutely. You look at the rest of their team defensively, the defensive line, the pass rush, where is it coming from? They haven't been able to develop the Takarius McKinleys of the world, the Vic Beasley of the world, who's now gone to Tennessee. The defense isn't it's awful. It never gets better in Atlanta. The offense is stagnant. The running back position hasn't improved at all. They let go of Tevin Coleman. I'll never understand why. Calvin Ridley is good, but he's not great yet. And Julio Jones is great. We know that, but there's only so much you can do. So at this point, the Falcons, they're just stuck to me. I'm over it. This is just the writing's on the wall for Dan Quinn. I'm just done with it at this point. So 25 are the Las Vegas Raiders. Okay, so the Las Vegas Raiders, people are going to like the Raiders. And honestly, I wanted to put the Chargers over them. I wanted to put the Lions over them. But there are two great things that the Raiders did this season. Number one, they got my boy Marcus Mariota. I mean, come on. I mean, if that's not a win, I don't know what is. They got my boy Marcus Mariota. And they also got Henry Ruggs, who is the third best wide receiver in this draft class, but is a damn good weapon. So I'm intrigued with the Raiders, right? They're not doing a very good job in the roster, but they should at least win 6 games still, so this is where they end up. Will they compete for the AFC playoffs? Some people will say so. I'll say only ways if Mariota's in the lineup. All right, so 26, we have the LA Chargers. And I want to put the Chargers higher than this. Don't get me wrong. But I think what's going to happen is, although Tyrod Taylor could certainly lead them to a 7-8 win record, they're just going to say, let's put in the kid. Let's put in Justin Herbert from the Disney Channel. Let's put him in there, and let's see what happens. We're not going to win many games, and we're okay with that. There's a reason why we moved on from Melvin Gordon and went to Austin Eckler. There's a reason why we're moving more towards Mike Williams in the wide receiver core. We're going younger, and I think that's their move right now. Patrick Murray, how is he going to fit into the defense? I know he's going to be good eventually, but it's going to take him some time. I think they're rebuilding a little bit, or at least a retooling, so definitely I think the Chargers deserve to be a little bit low right now. 27 Detroit Lions. Look, Matt Patricia just stinks. This is a horrible era for the Detroit Lions. It's going to come to a miserable end this season. I had faith in them winning the NFC North last season. How'd that work out for me? And then now they're drafting every single running back that they see. First of all, Kerryon Johnson, I know he got hurt last year. Okay, and you need some backup for him. But they take, in the second round, DeAndre Swift, who's great. But then in the first round, they take another running back. Why are you taking more running backs? This team that wanted to take Amir Abdullah and then no one wants to take every single running back that they see when Kerryon Johnson is good. I don't know what the Lions are doing. Matt Patricia's a joke. Bob Quinn's a joke. It's a joke up there in Detroit, and this is where they deserve to be. Matthew Stafford probably going to get hurt again, and it's going to be a disaster. 28 are the New York Giants. Okay, this is where the Giants will actually ascend. They're actually going to be better this season, at least 6 wins. But for right now, you guys have stunk for too many years now. 3-4 years now. I can't put you higher than this, but trust me, it's definitely coming back from the New York Giants. And they had a very good draft class, getting Andrew Thomas and another offensive lineman to help protect Daniel Jones. All right, so 29, we have the Washington Redskins. And the Redskins are coming up as well as they draft Chase Young with the 2nd overall pick. That was a fantastic pick. They drafted a couple of wide receivers to help Dwayne Haskins. The only problem is Dwayne Haskins isn't very good. Okay, that's the only problem right there. He's the worst quarterback in your division. Okay, and it's not even particularly close. Hell, he might be worse than Jalen Hurts soon. So he might be the 5th or 6th best quarterback in your division momentarily. Okay, and that's just going to hold back the Redskins. But this upcoming year, getting Darius Guice back, hopefully healthy for a 16-game season, and getting Terry McLaurin, more experience, and getting the defense under Ron Rivera, it's going to help. The Redskins will be improved. Okay, so 30, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars are not this bad talent-wise. Well, no, they're pretty bad talent-wise, especially offensively. But more so, they're tanking, right? They're talking about trading away Leonard Fournette. They're talking about trading away Yannick Ngakoue. It's over, right? The David Caldwell roster era, it's over. They're getting the guys out of there. They're shipping guys out of there. And even though I like Gardner Minshew, there's only so much he can do, and he's not going to be able to save the sinking ship that is Jacksonville right now. Jacksonville Jaguars are 30, 31 on the Miami Dolphins, and I wanted to put the Dolphins actually higher than this. I wanted to put them over the Jaguars. I wanted to put them over the Redskins potentially. But these clowns hired Chan Gailey as their offensive coordinator. Are these people out of their minds? This guy who's been out of the league for 4 years, 68 years old, was never a particularly good offensive coordinator, and whenever he was, it was a decade plus ago. Jesus Christ, Chan Gailey, this guy has done nothing innovative, inventive, anything in the past decade. And they bring this guy, the decaying corpse, they bring him out of the grave. The Walking Dead is real in Chan Gailey. So I don't know how I'm supposed to have faith in Tua Tagovailoa doing anything this season with Chan Gailey at the helm. I just don't see it. And then 32 are the Cincinnati Bengals. And look, I know you got your poster boy, Joe Burrow. Okay, this guy's going to come in. He's going to do this for us. He's going to do that for us. He's going to be the prodigal child, blah, blah, blah. But let me tell you right now, with Andy Dalton looking as bad as he did last season, I know Andy Dalton's never been the best quarterback in the world, but he certainly was never as awful as he was last season. And with the Bengals not making many improvements over last season, like I know they drafted T. Higgins in the 2nd round, but they didn't have a problem with the wide receiver position. Last time I checked, they have A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, and John Ross was doing something before he got injured. That's not going to solve all their problems. So now you're talking to me about Joe Burrow, and I'm saying, I don't know, because I think this Zach Taylor was not ready to be a head coach. I think he still has a lot of issues that he has to fix, and I don't have any faith in him being able to develop Joe Burrow early. I'm not sure how pretty this is going to be in Cincinnati. So with that said, those are my post-draft NFL power rankings. What are your thoughts on my power rankings? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.